I see that we have Wes Menzel here from the City Planning Department. Welcome, Wes.
Morning.
Looks like we have someone under M. Klickner. Klickner.
Yep, Matt Klickner. Good morning.
Okay, Matt Klickner. All right.
Yes, gentleman, Zach Coulter.
And are you both with HDR Inc.?
I am with HDR. Zach is with Duke.
Okay. All right. Is Zach actually here with us or just going to be observing?
Mostly observing. So he's asking me if we can see him. I will tell him we cannot.
Yep. Yeah, I can ask him.
Yeah, but can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm not sure why the video, my camera is showing that it's on.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe I've got a few administrative things I need to run through here. Maybe you can mess around with your camera setting and see if
Yep.
I can troubleshoot it. Okay.
Yep, I just had to download Zoom real quick before the call, so I'll try to figure it out.
Okay, great. Thanks, Zach. All right. Are we expecting anyone else to join us here on the applicant owner side before we get started?
So these were the only two people that were on the invite list. We did have others on a witness list, but they were not invited. The invite noted not to share the link with anybody, so I didn't want to go out of bounds and pass it along. But we do have others we could invite in if needed.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to try to do that now, or do you want to try and proceed? And if we need them, try to bring them in later.
I'll say if we need them, we'll go ahead and bring them in later. Then just kind of let them know he's on standby.
Okay. Yeah, and feel free to share that link now with any witnesses you wanted to bring. So you can go ahead and do that. I need to read through our hearing script, which is just going to cover the procedure for the hearing. So we'll get started after that. This will just take a couple minutes. So this is the December 10th, 2025 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the city. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us is case number ZH20250125. That's 2770 Robertson Avenue. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless there's been some written correspondence prior to this hearing. If there were anyone here from the general public, they would have, the hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So for our purposes here today, anyone from HDR or Duke or any witnesses that they have, that'll be the opportunity for you all to tell me about the project, the zoning relief that you're requesting here today, and then of course why you believe that zoning relief is appropriate and should be approved. If there were anyone here from the general public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicants have presented their case. I'll hear from Mr. Menzel if he'd like to provide any testimony in addition to the staff report that he submitted on this application. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to the testimony that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, which we're kind of experiencing right now, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those as we go. But to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. The last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in prior to that testimony. So I'm going to do that now for everyone who intends on testifying. So if you could raise your right hand, I'll need you to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
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 Great. Thanks, everyone. All right. Mr. Klickner, are you going to be taking the lead for us here on the presentation? Okay.
Yes, I am. I'm assuming I can share screen as well to present. Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe that, get the right screen. All right, so we'll present, I guess, and it sounded like generally to go through the scope of the work. All right, can you all see my screen at this point?
It's still loading up. Yep, we can see it.
Perfect. All right, so generally go over the scope of the work of the project that we've got going on, the variance need. I guess we can take a look at the adjudication letter that Mr. Munzel provided. Go through the, I guess, scope and need of what that variance of the conditional use requirements are, and then kind of walk through some of the documentation that we provided here. So reference, this project is a natural gas regulating station and metering station for Duke. There's an existing station within the sidewalk at this location that is being expanded to increase the capacity in this area, as well as add in some additional metering capacity. The site that we've selected ultimately is next to this existing life storage site here on Robertson Avenue, right next to Highway 71. This is right on the edge of the, I believe, Norwood and City of Cincinnati suburb on the city side. And we're ultimately fitting in somewhat in this little portion here. I've got another drawing we can see just to show what the entire site looks like. But again, so this is a natural gas regulating facility for a utility with some above ground appurtenances or features, which ultimately is why we're seeking relief on our security fencing for both the height and conditional use for the water razor wire. So just a general look at what is existing at this location prior to the construction. So again, life storage facility, there is some existing fencing and barbed wire on the inside or the interior of the site that is visible from the roadway. There's a black fence here that has been removed as part of the construction of this site. The site was previously permitted for construction, is under construction now. So this is not what it currently looks like. There are some residences in the area, which we've been in communication with, particularly this apartment building across the street. But yeah, so this is generally the existing conditions that we're looking at go down. Just note that there is also an existing access to, I believe, a wastewater, a water, and the gas line right of way, which does include some taller fencing with barbed wire. So just noting it's not brand new to the area. And give you another look at the area. So from life storage looking out, just to give you an idea of what it looks like, from essentially partially inside of the site looking out, this is what we're looking at. So Robertson Avenue right here in front of us. The actual work that's being performed, pull that up, as noted, is a natural gas regulating station, which is essentially inclusive of 5 pits, which are below ground concrete structures that contain the equipment that is typically above ground. And then there are above ground meter runs that were required as part of our metering scope for this work. But the bulk of this station, outside of the few above ground appurtenances, will be below ground at the end of the project. Ultimately, what we're looking for here from a security standpoint, which is fairly standard security details for Duke, is the installation of a 7-foot tall chain link fence with 1-foot barbed wire on top, with the privacy slats is included. The scope of that fencing that we're talking about essentially is from the edge of the building around to tie into an existing set of fencing, and then moving along the edge here. This is a retaining wall that has been permitted and installed through the project. That yellow overlap there, so the fencing would go along the top of the retaining wall and tie back into the building to provide security around the existing site. Give you a quick look at in construction, what we're looking at here, just to give you a reference of what the site looks like. So these are the above ground appurtenances I'm talking about. Those are ultimately part of the items that we're looking to protect with this fencing, as well as there's a few vents essentially coming out of these pits. So at the end of the day, these 2 items will be sticking out. Everything else will be at grade or below grade, as permitted through the site development plan with the city. So scope of the fencing that we're looking at, this is Duke's standard security fencing detail that we're looking at. Again, it's 7-foot tall wire fabric, got a 1 foot extension on top for the barbed wire, and as well as the vinyl slats included for privacy. So the intent would be that this privacy fence with the barbed wire would be running along the front edge of the site from the corner of the building to tie into the existing fencing that's already there, along Robertson Avenue, and then back along the back edge and side edge of this site.
Yeah, real quick while you're on this slide, the existing fencing that's looks sort of to the northwest there of the new proposed fencing, is that the fencing you showed in an image earlier that already has chain link and barbed wire?
It actually ties in, so right about this location here, it ties in from the black fencing to chain link. So it actually kind of just stops the black decorative fencing and becomes chain link. So ultimately we'd be tying into the chain link, we'd be removing, or the black fencing has been removed.
Okay, and so where it ties in there does that chain link fencing currently or recently removed, did that have barbed wire on it as well?
I don't believe the chain link along this edge had barbed wire. The gate at a little bit farther down through this area does have the barbed wire, but the fencing, the chain link fencing that this existing fencing ties into does not have barbed wire.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I've got another. I do have a photo. You can kind of see it's a little tougher. For some reason, I didn't want to load the other right half of the picture I've got here, but there is barbed wire again on the gate, not on the existing fence.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So that is the scope again that we're looking for here. There is be a driveway in front of this fence that all was permitted as well. There'll be a drive into the site here. So there is a proposed 16-foot swing gate set here as well to be installed. Yeah, so that's the scope of the work that we're looking for. Let's see if there's any additional questions before jumping into the kind of support for the case.
Yeah. How far set back from the right of way will the new fencing be?
Scale this off real quick. See, maybe it's 1 to 10. Take that. I got that scale right. Yeah. So right now it's 8 feet to the property line. We can go to the edge of the curve. It's to be 12 feet back from essentially the edge of the sidewalk road.
Okay.
8 feet, yeah, essentially 8 feet off of where the road right away is there.
Got it. Okay. You mentioned at the beginning you had been in contact with neighboring residential properties. Is there something in the packet that references those communications, or would you like to share what those have been?
Yeah, so the communication with the neighbor across the street has been more specifically about the work, and there'll ultimately be an outage as they tie in the new station to the service line. So the communication has not been specific to a fence across the street. I do believe I have in here, and let's see if I can find it. Actually, there have been communications. I'll have to see if I can find it. Communications with Life Storage, who is ultimately the landowner that this easement was purchased from, that their preference is to have a fence protecting the station as well. So they, from a, I believe, liability standpoint, would prefer that this station be protected from the general public, from someone wandering in or trying to break in, essentially. So the landowner that this easement is on, their preference is to have,
Okay.
yeah, this station. Have to read to see if I can find where I wrote that down. If not, I can, if able to be provided additionally, I've got one of the witness list people was a right-of-way agent who had that communication with the landowner. We need to grab him and pull him in. I can check his availability as well.
I think we can hold off for now. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me about the project?
I don't believe, not specific to the project itself. That's generally the work that's going on and planned. I think I mentioned we do have a couple, just for noting the scope, we do have a couple of gates being installed. So there's a drive gate at one location and then two man gates for access and emergency escape, essentially, for both of those locations.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I don't think I have any more questions. Was there anyone else from the applicant side that wanted to add anything to the conversation here?
Yes, sir. I did have one thing I wanted to add. So I did reach out to our Duke physical security manager last week, and I spoke with him about this project. He brought it to my attention that there are two other Duke facilities about 2.5 miles from here that were put in within the last few years. One was for the C350 project. The other one was the Norwood Regulator Station project. Both of those sites are significantly larger than this site, and they both were approved to have the 7-in-1 chain link with privacy slats. I'm happy to try to share my screen to give you a visual if that would be helpful.
Sure. Yeah. Do you know if they were in the city of Cincinnati?
I believe so. I believe they were within the city limits.
Did they go through a variance process? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I've not contacted the project team that were on both of those projects. Let's see. I apologize. We typically work off of Microsoft Teams. This is the first time I've used Zoom.
Sure.
Mr. Klickner, I think you'll
There
be.
we go. You want to try again?
I say I stopped sharing unless you want me to pull up the location. So I'm doing like the show.
There we go.
There we go. Yep.
Can you all see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I believe the address to this location is 2774 East Seymour Ave. This is the C350 station. I think this was installed in 2021. And then across the road here is the Norwood Regulator Station. These are essentially 5 different lines that we have above ground mainline valves on. And then back here, we do have a building, and I believe there is a fence around this building as well, a 7-in-1 chain link with the privacy slats. And as far as locations go, zoom out, give this a second to load. Yeah, I think when I looked it up using Apple Maps, it was 2.4 miles from this site. This is where the Robertson Ave site is. Yeah, you can kind of see there. But I do believe it is in the city of Cincinnati boundary. Hamilton County Cincinnati is a municipality. That's it. I just wanted to share that. That was something that he had brought up. I was trying to seek approval for the approved 6-foot chain link fence. Their biggest concern is, obviously security and trying to keep the public safe as well as the customers that are on this line. This is a critical station. So if this station was to ever, if it was ever sabotaged, we would have residential and industrial customers services interrupted. So typically they're willing to work with us on fencing variances internally to where we don't have to pursue variances externally. But this one I received quite a bit of pushback on and was encouraged to try to get this fencing variance. I believe you're on mute if you're talking with us, David.
Sorry, thanks, Zach.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from anyone on the applicant side here? Okay,
That
let's
was
go to
from
Wes.
the scope of work. I didn't know if you wanted to jump into the, I guess, background and reasons, or is there still? Let me go through the, I guess, the section 6 summary that we provided, or is that on record and good to go?
Let's see. So you mean the rationale and the written reasons in the packet?
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of the record. I have it. I have reviewed a good amount of the application materials here, so it's up to you. It's your presentation. If you'd like to go through that, that's fine.
I'd say in general, if you've read it, that I think I tried to lay out a fairly good case here that it's critical infrastructure zoned appropriately as far as I understand. There is other instances of this being used as well as barbed wire currently on the site location itself. So we're not changing the zoning necessarily. And the visual impact that you saw is it's right now it's fair chain link, and this is the black fencing with the privacy slats. It will change, but there is going to be I guess a little bit of an additional offset back from the road where the current fencing is. But no, I guess if you've got that on record and read it, then we're all good. Try to hit the right points there for our support.
Sure. Okay. Great. Let's go over to Wes. Wes, you want to add anything here?
Unless you're on mute.
Good morning. I do not have any more comments other than the staff report as presented.
Okay, great. Thanks, Wes. All right, Mr. Klickner, I don't have any more questions. So anything you want to say in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
We appreciate y'all putting this together and taking a look at the variance for both the height and the conditional use. These are, again, critical infrastructures, items that both for the public safety and customer safety and customer access, I guess, to the natural gas. We'd very much like to have the variance to be able to install the fencing as proposed. But no, again, appreciate the time this morning.
Great. Yeah, I think we can leave it at that. As I said, I've reviewed the application materials and the staff report for this application, and I think based on that and based on the testimony that I've heard here today, that I agree that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this application. So I am going to approve the requested relief. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. I think that's probably a good estimate just based on my current queue of applications at the moment. As soon as I finish that, I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you'll all have a copy of that really just moments after it's complete. Once Wes sees that email, he can approve the zoning permitting on his end, and you all can take the next steps. Any questions about any of that?
Nothing for mine.
Okay, great. Well, good luck with the project. Thanks again for your time, your testimony. And, have a great day. We're adjourned.
That's good. Thank you.